This is Evening News for Monday, January 6, 2014. I'm Samuel Suknandan. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. APNU has philosophical problem with private sector. GRA receives $4.3 million mobile scanner. 5 men arrested for murder of Beefy Man. Satan arrested after woman's decomposed body found. Harbour Bridge to be closed for urgent repairs and man caught with 1,044 kilograms of cocaine. And now for the news in detail. Sherlock Reed, also known as Blacker, was today placed on $500,000 bail after he appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court, charged with the possession of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. The man was charged after 1,044 kilograms of cocaine was confiscated in a shipment to Antigua. The cocaine was reportedly stashed in a Bible case. The man, who was represented by attorney-at-law George Thomas, is to make another court appearance on January 29. Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh has said that the main opposition party has a philosophical difficulty with the private sector in Guyana. More details in this report.
Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh says Guyanese ought not to be surprised by some of the recent positions taken by a Partnership for National Unity, APNU, and its major component, the People's National Congress Reform. The minister accused the party of having a philosophical difficulty with the private sector in Guyana and a capitalist market-driven economy and economics. He was at the time referring to what he calls an unrestrained assault by the opposition on investors, where the opposition has rebuked and undermined several projects. He further said the opposition has a design to chase investors out of Guyana.
Indeed, even the local private sector, you've heard very disparaging comments and dismissive comments made by members of the opposition in the parliament about members of the private sector. The private sector attempted to have a petition tabled in parliament and were muzzled by the opposition, who refused, using their majority, refused the private sector an opportunity to have their petition even read in the parliament.
The minister further went on to describe past events where parts of the private sector was nationalized under the rule of the People's National Congress.
Recall, of course, that it is the APNU's, well, in its previous guise as the PNC, under Mr. Greenidge's economic stewardship, that the private sector was decimated and that essentially private enterprise was chased out of Guyana. Recall that Mr. Greenidge served as finance minister from, I think, 1983 to 1992. And for the greater part of those years, there was no private sector in Guyana. They'd all been nationalized and chased away, and an environment was created that was extremely unfriendly to private business. The entire entrepreneurial class left Guyana because of anti-private sector policies.
These remarks were made days before Muri Brazil pulled out of the exploration projects in Guyana. Muri Brazil had intended to conduct a geographical and geophysical survey under the PGGS granted by the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission. The release, which confirmed the company's decline, stated, and I quote, "This decision is due to the misinformation, prejudice and hostility to this proposed survey by persons and agencies which are fostering an adverse investment climate in Guyana," end quote. This would be the second project that has seen a pullout of a major investor over the last 6 months.
Guyana's first mobile scanner was handed over to the Guyana Revenue Authority by the government and people of Republic of China. Avinash Ramzan explains.
The $4.3 million mobile scanner is a self-operated machine which will boost the export surveillance capacity and detect drugs being smuggled through the ports. The scanner was launched today at the National Park. Speaking at the launch, Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh urged traders within the private sector to play their part in ensuring that the process of scanning goes smooth.
And so I would say to the trading members of the private sector that the surest way to timely processing of your transactions with the GRA is ensuring on your own part that your declarations to the tax authorities are full and complete and accurate if you wish to minimize the risk of queries and of delays.
Chinese ambassador to Guyana, Zhang Limin, said that this piece of equipment will go a long way in boosting the operations of the Guyana Revenue Authority. He noted that this initiative by the Chinese government is part of its effort to help developing countries.
所以这些年来，中国也一直没有间断向第三世界国家，就是发展中国家提供力所能及的经济援助。
So over the years, China has never stopped its efforts to contribute to the economic development of developing countries.
这其中就包括圭亚那。
These also include Guyana.
所以我们希望我们的对圭亚那的援助呢，能够一定对于圭亚那的经济发展，对于圭亚那的社会进步，能够起到帮助作用。
So we believe, and we also hope that our help to Guyana will contribute to the economic and the social development of Guyana.
Meanwhile, Deputy Commissioner General of the Guyana Revenue Authority, Clement Seeley, stated this scanner will allow for the easy detection of unauthorized items. Seeley pointed out that the Guyana Revenue Authority has been working to upgrade its operations using technology.
GRA has embraced and has been investing in information technology to re-engineer its business systems and processes over the years since the establishment of the authority. The investment in this state-of-the-art scanner is a major addition to Guyana Revenue Authority's information capacity arsenal, and it demonstrates GRA's commitment to ongoing investments in information technology.
The mobile scanner was manufactured by the Chinese company Newtech using the latest technology in X-ray imaging. The scanner is transported by a Volvo truck and has the capacity to scan 20 containers within 1 hour.
The police say they have arrested 5 men who are now assisting with police investigations into the murder of Raphael Campbell, 30 years of Betfawagatin, East Coast, Demerara. The man's body was found at Liliandal on the east coast of Demerara last Friday. A post-mortem examination was undertaken today on the body by pathologist Dr. Neil Singh. The cause of death was given as gunshot injuries to the head. 40-year-old Jermaine Maynard today appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Priya Surnaran Bihari to answer to a charge of murder.
Jermaine Maynard was not required to plead to the charge which alleged that between December 31, 2013 and January 1, 2014, he murdered Clarissa Matthews. The defendant stood calmly as the charge was read to him as the relatives of the deceased looked on with piercing eyes. Attorney George Thomas, who appeared on behalf of the defendant, asked the court for an early date for trial. He is set to return to court on February 10, 2014. Minutes shy of seeing the dawn of the new year, Clarissa Matthews, a mother of 1, was shot and killed by her ex-lover on Water Street in the vicinity of KFC. Matthews of Flying Fish Street, North Rhymeville, Georgetown, was shot once to her head by the man with whom she had shared a relationship for the past 2 years. Maynard of Cross Street, Georgetown, who fled the scene, was subsequently apprehended by police ranks of Springlands Police Station as he was making his way to neighboring country Suriname. Anara Khan reporting for the Evening News.
Police have arrested Leroy John, also known as Satan, in connection with a suspected murder of his reputed wife. The woman, who has been identified as Judith D. Oliveira, was today discovered in a clump of bushes near the Dredge Creek Health Center in the Upper Pomeroon River. Her body was nude and partially decomposed. The matter has been investigated at the police at Charity after discovery was made at around 10:45 today. The woman had been reported missing since December last year. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Wednesday from 22 hours or 10 p.m. until 4 a.m. Thursday morning after it was damaged following an accident over the weekend. Natasha Aziz has the details.
At a press conference, General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation Ralston Adams underscored the need for the repairs as he sought to explain the extent of the damage following the collision with a vessel on Sunday.
The pilot was given instructions to prepare to transit at about 5:05. Instruction being prepare to transit. The bridge is now retracting. The bridge was retracted completely at about 5:15, and he was given instructions to proceed. The supervisor working the shift was Mr. Ryan Arjun, and he reported that the vessel was transiting in a diagonal position, not the normal lined up straight heading to the bridge. After that was noticed, instructions was then given to the pilot again, orient your position to transit the bridge properly. The response from the pilot was, "I know what I'm doing."
The world's largest floating bridge has received major damage to the open-end section, hence forcing the retractions to pause until Thursday.
On inspection yesterday and continuing today, it was observed that 4 connecting posts were damaged, the 2 cluster piles, there's damage to the pontoon, and there's damage to the transom. Those are the damages.
2 of the clusters, which once served as a guide to vessels as well as protecting the anchor lines which lead to the pontoons, will also be replaced. A cost has not been attached to the damage as yet, as evaluations are currently ongoing. Adams further explained that the Harbour Bridge Corporation has the resources which are required for the repairs, and assistance was sought from the Berbice Bridge Company. An investigation has been launched and is being handled by the Maritime Administration Department as well as officials from the Guyana National Shipping Corporation. For the Evening News, Natasha Aziz.
Having missed the December 31 date of completion for the Hope Canal project, the Agriculture Ministry is given all assurance that the canal would be operational no later than April this year. The details in this report. Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy said the scope of work yet to be undertaken is critical to the operationalization of the Hope Canal. The minister told this newscast today that the main area of concern is having the external sluice completed soon.
The external sluice at the moment is about 55% completed. So we are long from completion of this structure. But that doesn't mean that people should think we need another 2 years. Indeed, there were some difficulties that I had informed everybody about. The contractor was very cooperative with the Ministry of Agriculture, and we have worked out arrangements for the completion of that structure.
Dr. Ramsamy stated that most of the work is near completion, explaining the progress being made to all 4 components.
I would consider that 3 of the 4 components of the Northern Relief Channel are essentially completed. There is still some work to be done, but some of this is dependent on other factors.
The minister had said that if the contractors fail to meet the December 31 deadline, the government would issue liquidated damages against them. This will take effect soon, but will in no way affect the continuation of the project.
I believe, given where we are with 3 of the components, that if is necessary, would be minor, because the bridge is essentially completed. The head regulator has reached almost a completion point, and if we impose any that we are now discussing between the contractor and us, it will not be a major liquidated damage.
The $3.6 billion East Demerara Water Conservancy Northern Relief Channel remains incomplete after the contractor for the 8-door sluice component of the project has only been able to complete approximately 50% of the construction. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. Just about 12 hours today, 3 vehicles collided at the intersection of Camp and Quamana Streets, Georgetown. According to eyewitness accounts, PGG 45 was proceeding along the western half of Quamana Street when it collided with motorcar PLL 2907. Adrian Bacchus, who was driving the third vehicle, HB 8992, said PGG 45 spun about 3 times before hitting the front of his vehicle, which had stopped on the eastern half of Quamana Street at the Camp Street intersection. The drivers of the other 2 vehicles had declined to give any statements regarding the accident, with the driver of the PGG 45 appearing to be still traumatized by the incident. The Evening News understands that PGG 45 had a passenger in the back of the car who sustained injuries and was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital for treatment. The only name given for the injured man was Niraj. Police subsequently arrived on the scene but left to get a tow truck. Join us after these messages for more of the Evening News. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. 23-year-old Carl Lashley and 21-year-old Christina Camacho today appeared in the Georgetown Magistrate Court before Chief Magistrate Priya Sunaran Bihari, jointly charged with the possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. The defendants pleaded not guilty to the charge, which alleged that on January 4, 2014, at 16 James Street, Old Boys Town, police ranks found leaves, seeds and stems of what they suspected and later confirmed to be cannabis weighing 93 grams. The defendants were told of the offence and taken into custody. Both of the defendants, who were represented by Gurdon Gilhouse, were remanded to prison. They are to make another court appearance on January 17. In this report, you'll hear that Guyana will have its first five-star international hotel by August this year when the Marriott is completed.
President Donald Ramotar, along with other government officials, visited the Marriott Hotel construction located at Kingston, Georgetown on Saturday. The president said he was impressed with the pace at which works in the hotel are progressing. While speaking with officials, the head of state disclosed that the Marriott Hotel construction has set a pace for construction in Guyana, adding that he is looking forward to an early opening so as to develop the tourism industry in Guyana. Construction works in the Marriott Hotel should be completed shortly in order to be fully operational and commissioned in August of this year. According to the president, such infrastructure will go a very far way in advancing Guyana's economic development and improving the lives of Guyanese. During the visit by the head of state, it was noticed that out of the 197 rooms the Marriott Hotel is expected to boast, several rooms are already completely furnished and ready to use. The hotel also has a large ballroom, conference center, nightclub, restaurant, a concrete walkway, and all other amenities of a world-class hotel. The Marriott Hotel project has an estimated investment of $51 million and will provide employment opportunities for over 500 Guyanese.
Meanwhile, there have been no announcements or disclosures yet from the principals of the Marriott Hotel project on whether it has achieved financial closure with the other investors. More in this report. Even though the Marriott Hotel project is progressing, details about its financial status remain sketchy or are being heavily guarded. This newscast made contact with Chairman of the Atlantic Hotels Inc., AHI Winston Brassington today, who declined to offer any substantive comments on the issue at the moment. Brassington said that he will provide the media with greater details of the project at a later time, which is yet to be confirmed. The AHI chairman had told this newscast recently that the details of the investor would have been provided early this year, with plans to inject some US $8 million. Brassington said that a five-star facility will be opened for business in the third quarter of 2014, with approximately US $20 million already spent on the project. AHI released the details of a feasibility study on the Marriott project, which was completed by US company HVS Consulting and Evaluation. The study indicated that Guyana stands to benefit tremendously from its investment in the project. The Marriott Hotel will house a casino and a nightclub along with 197 rooms. AHI remains confident that Republic Bank will provide US $20 million to the project. For the Evening News, I'm Samuel Suknandan. The relatives of Jerome Sturge, 16 of 32 East Rhinebeald Front Road, Georgetown, who was fished out of the Atlantic Ocean on Friday last, are still suspecting foul play in the young man's death, despite the post-mortem confirmed that he died from drowning. A post-mortem performed on the body of the teenager today by Dr. Neol Singh gave the cause of death as suffocation due to drowning. The two young men, who were subsequently taken into police custody following the incident, have been released. Anita McIntyre, sister of the dead teen, told this newscast that she, along with other relatives, went to witness the post-mortem and was told that Sturge died from blunt trauma to head and was suffocated. She also said the police attempted to explain that her brother may have received a hard blow to his head while he was fighting up under the water. This, she disclosed, the family does not buy and is convinced that her brother's two friends had played a major role in his death. McIntyre also disclosed that with some degree of frustration that the relatives of the two teenagers who were in custody were also present at the post-mortem on Monday morning. More of the Evening News after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. 1 month after the winners of the National Drama Festival were announced, there were reports that the prize monies have not been given in full amounts. More in this report.
Director of the National Drama Festival, Godfrey Norton, told the Evening News that several winners of the 2013 National Drama Festival in December were calling and asking him for their prize monies. He responded by telling them he did not have the monies and they should check with the Ministry of Culture on Main Street. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, Alfred King, when contacted by this newscast, said there were some discrepancies in the submission of the budget on the part of the director of the National Festival. King further explained that those issues have been worked out and the winners will receive their monies as soon as possible. The curtains were drawn on the National Drama Festival 2013 in December after a series of short and full-length plays were staged with Watch the Ride to Justice, capturing a 9 out of 10 awards. For the Evening News, Natasha Aziz.
Schools across the country today opened their doors to welcome students back from the Christmas vacation. In a statement, the Ministry of Education said that this term commenced without any known unpleasant incidents and that over 200,000 students population returned to schools to begin the Easter term. The ministry extended best wishes to all students and teachers from across the country as they begin this new school term and encourages particularly the teachers to remain focused, steadfast and committed to delivering the best quality education possible to the nation's children. Students are also being urged to be disciplined, punctual and attentive as they strive to be the best students they can be. This new term goes until Friday, April 11, 2014. The Carnegie School of Home Economics is seeking to implement the use of technology and to do a bit of rebranding. At the press conference today, the school said that it will be partnering with other institutions in technical training as well. Anara Khan was there and filed this report.
Penelope Harris, the school's principal, in her address, said that the school's vision for 2020 is to become operational under a technical vocational education and training system, which creates national development through innovation, employment, and entrepreneurship.
What will be unique about 2014, everything will be done here. We are going to be partnering with the other institutions that offer technical and vocational education and training. So if I know that at GTI they have good practices in terms of their registration process or how they handle their finances, their financial records are fully computerized and so on, we would want our staff to interact, to spend some time in those institutions, gathering from them their best practices. This retreat will be held at Region 6 in New Amsterdam, but as part of the activity, we will visit New Amsterdam Technical Institute. We will visit the Upper Quarantine Industrial Training Center so that we can observe some of their best practices.
Harris said that the institution is also in the process of providing skills training for all Guyanese persons from every sector of the economy. Chief Education Officer Olato Sam stated that a more learner-friendly approach must be taken across the board in the education system, adding that TVET has now been adopted as the national approach for technical education.
There is widespread recognition that pupils and teachers engaged in the teaching-learning process need to move well beyond content knowledge and emphasize skill acquisition, including those traits and abilities such as problem solving, decision making, teamwork, effective communication, critical thinking, which are invaluable in the workplace.
Carnegie presently is playing an important role in its delivery of technical and vocational education as it relates to the hospitality sector. The Chief Education Officer disclosed that the Carnegie Institution will soon be transformed into a world-class hospitality institution. Anara Khan reporting for the Evening News.
Communities along the east coast of Demerara will see monuments being erected to commemorate and educate citizens about historic uprisings in their communities. More from Natasha Aziz.
We have committed that we will be putting markers in all the villages along the east coast where this uprising would have taken place. And so early in this year, you would see the National Trust start putting out these markers so that people living in these villages who don't know the history would now get a sense of appreciation of this history. We have done some research and we are now ready to place these markers. So you'll see them going out maybe within the next month or two.
That was Culture Minister Dr. Frank Anthony speaking at the 2013 year-end conference on Friday. Dr. Anthony further explained in an effort to educate citizens of Guyana's history, a number of monuments will be erected to pay homage to the fallen heroes as well. The minister made reference to the Enmore Martyrs Monument, which is being vandalized, urging people to understand the value of monuments and cherish the history in which they symbolize.
People have been vandalizing the actual brass symbol that was on the monument. We've tried to restore that. We've put a marker there. But one of the bugbears had always been that the place was open. So we are now building a fence there. That fence is right now under construction. And once that is completed, it would be under the jurisdiction of the National Trust.
Speaking in relation to the improvements to monuments, Dr. Anthony pointed to the restoration of the fountain at the 1763 monument and the construction of the resource center about the monument. Meanwhile, the minister told reporters that a burial site for the 15 sugar workers who were killed in 1915 in Rose Hall during an uprising was found and efforts are being made to construct a monument there. For the Evening News, Natasha Aziz.
Thieves over the weekend raided a man's farm in the agricultural scheme of Kosier and stole several bunches of plantain. According to reports from farmers in the scheme, thieves have been targeting suckers, farmers, especially those who harvest giant bunches of plantain. Speaking to the media over this loss, cash crop farmer Goberdan Polistari said thieves over the weekend raided his farm and stole several bunches of plantain, which amounted to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The farmer related he visited his farm Sunday and he was shocked to see trees that once were laden with plantain without. The farmer said all his hard labor has gone and called on the police to conduct a proper investigation into the matter. Join us after these messages for your sport news, sponsored by Macro. Welcome back, and now for a look at sport in your headlines. National cricket squad trimmed to 26. National Resource Centre to be opened soon. And Michael Schumacher stable but critical. The senior cricket squad has been narrowed down to 26 players for the second stage of preparations, which will run until January 25. The squad is preparing for this year's West Indies Cricket Board NACICO Super 50 tournament. Rajiv Bisnaut reports.
The squad was originally made up of 37 players, but has been trimmed to 26 following the first phase of preparation. Those still in contention for a spot on the national team are Leon Johnson, Devendra Bishu, Veersamy Permaul, Anthony Bramble, Robin Bacchus, Asad Furuddin, Zahir Mohammed, Royston Crandon, Christopher Barnwell, Ransford Beaton, Chandrapal Hemraj, Vishal Singh, Shivnarayan Chandrapal, Tejarayan Chandrapal, Rajiv Iphone, Amir Khan, Ramnarish Sarwan, Shakil Williams, Narsingh Denarayan, Trevon Griffith, Keon Joseph, Ron Johnson, Jason Sinclair, Paul Wins, Rajendra Chandrika and Sinarayan Chattergun. The 8-team regional tournament, which also includes the combined campuses and colleges and ICC affiliate team Ireland, will run until February 17. Guyana, who last won the title when they beat Barbados in the 2005 KFC Cup final at Bordeaux, will face Ireland in their opening game on January 31 at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain, Trinidad. In addition to Ireland, Guyana will face the Windward Islands and defending champions Jamaica in Group A, while host Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, the Leeward Islands, and CCC make up Group B. Guyana's 40-man squad will be announced sometime this week. Guyana, the only South American side in the competition, has won the tournament 9 times, the first in 1980. Other titles came in 1983, 1985, 1993, 1995, 1998, 2001, 2003 and 2005.
The hospital treating Michael Schumacher for head injuries says his condition remains stable but critical. Doctors in Grenoble said he is being continually monitored, but they will not be able to release any more health details. The former racing champion has been in a medically induced coma for the past 8 days following a skiing accident in the French Alps. Meanwhile, prosecutors investigating the accident plan to give details of their probe on Wednesday. Remember, you can read about these and other stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times newspaper, and a copy of that newspaper can be picked up from vendors across the country. When you're not reading our newspaper or watching TVG Channel 28, do remember to tune in to RGI on 89.3, 89.5 or 89.7 FM. Your Bridge reports are next. Welcome back, and now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Tuesday, January 7 at 9 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Tuesday, January 7 at 8 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Monday, January 6, 2014 edition of the Evening News. I'm Samuel Suknandon. Thanks for joining us.